Brian Beary is a contributing editor with European Affairs. I asked him what was different about this election.
Well, what it says to me about the French political system is very specifically the centre-left in France has collapsed completely because the centre-left party got a mere 6% of the vote. I think it's less dramatic on the right of the political spectrum. After all, François Fillon ended up with about 20% despite a major scandal, which was not a terrible showing. He was just a point or two away from getting into the last round. But overall, I mean, if you add up those two parties' support, the centre-left and centre-right, they come to only about 25% or so. You can see that the populists, both on the left and on the right, have about 50%. And that's the story of French politics today. Populism, whether on the left or on the right, is the dominant force.
You mentioned François Fillon, François Hollande, both of them endorsing Macron. In this era of outsider, are endorsements a good thing or are they a bad thing? Does it help him or hurt him?
My personal view is they're a bad thing. Certainly, Emmanuel Macron doesn't need François Hollande, who has an approval rating of about 4%, to endorse him. I don't see how he gains anything from it. But of course, you know, when people are asked, who are you backing in the second round, a lot of them want, for their own reasons, to say they're not backing Marine Le Pen, but I think it makes no difference to him in terms of the voters. I think they'll make up their own minds regardless of what Fillon or Hollande says to them.
When it's a cluttered field, there's a lot of different candidates to choose from. Now it's a narrow focus. You've got two candidates, obviously. How does this campaign change now?
I think the voters just have to decide, especially that the 60% of the voters who didn't vote for either Le Pen or Macron, it's, do they just abstain? Do they not show up? Do they vote for Macron? Do they vote for Le Pen? It's a hard decision for say people on the populist left, because they really dislike Macron's kind of pro-EU, kind of globalization aspect, but they also dislike the anti-immigrant sentiment from Marine Le Pen. For me, that's going to be the most interesting. What does the 20% that voted hard left for Mélenchon, where do they put their vote, if they put it anywhere in round two? Because that will determine how close Marine Le Pen can get to that magic 50%. My prediction is she's going to fall shy of it, but she's going to do a lot better than her father did 15 years ago.
Brian, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mike.